standing right in the middle of the water irrigation area, and behind me is that hill, which is called Kelly's Knob, but in Merrill, in the local language here, we call it Tagowian. It's a dreaming place for the rock pigeon, and that hill is right above Kununurra, the township of Kununurra.
Standing on Kelly's Knob Lookout, behind us we've got the town of Kununurra. Kununurra was initially gazetted as a town in 1961, and really with the building or the construction of the Ord irrigation scheme. Today the town has a population of 6,000 people and is the vibrant hub of the East Kimberley.
I think Kununurra probably mean river, big river. Not actually the way it sounds now, Kununurra, but in the Merrill saying it's Kununurra.
The town was established to service the agriculture industry by the building of the two dams across the Ord River. The diversion dam, which is at Kununurra itself, which was completed in 1963. In 1972, a second dam was built 55 kilometres upstream to form Lake Argyle. A man by the name of Kimberley he was the grandson of one of the earliest pioneers in the area. He set up an agricultural research station on the banks of the Ord River, near now where Kununurra is, and it was he who lobbied both state and federal politicians at the time to come up with the funding to build the two dams across the Ord River.
We're standing at what's called the Argyle Downs Museum. It's a replica of the original Argyle Downs homestead. The Argyle Downs homestead was part of the Durack family stations. The Duracks were one of the pioneering families of the region. The significance of the Duracks is that they were the first European drovers to the region that actually realised the potential of the area, and from 1882 to 1886 drove 7,500 head of cattle from Queensland over to this region here. All the cattle stations, they very much relied upon Indigenous stockmen and Indigenous housemaids, and one of the major employment sources was the local Indigenous population of the region. The original homestead site is now underwater for when they created or built the Lake Argyle Dam here. That was one of the areas that was submerged when it filled up.
I'm actually on the smaller lookout on Lake Argyle, which is top dam. Just behind me, there's a range of hill where the old Argyle homestead is situated. It's actually underwater. Most of my family have grown up on Argyle Station. We've lived there all our lives. I was born there. I grew up knowing it's the most beautiful station in the Kimberley. But because of the damming, we had to move because you had water coming back from the dam, from this area going backwards. So we had to actually move out in 2 weeks. I used to go down and peg the river level. It was just myself and my mother was there, and people had been moved away. Some animals probably trapped there during the flooding. But there's a hill called Bilbilji, which we have one native title. Me and my family has one. It's actually called Mount Misery in white man term, but it's actually Bilbilji. It's a grasshopper dreaming that belongs to us. We have actually won that through native title.
We share everything else on the land. So we should share the knowledge and all, because there's nothing in the school. There's nothing that actually teach anything about Merong people of this land. We're hoping it might get to the school, but we don't know yet. There's probably a long way down the track.
At the moment, Lake Argyle, you'd have about 21 Sydney harbours in volume. Every day it is different. Prolific wildlife, lots of crocodiles, incredible bird life, especially later in the dry season, flying foxes. Occasionally you see dingoes. Like these two lakes, Lake Kununurra, Lake Argyle, have probably got the highest concentration of crocodiles of anywhere in Australia.
I'm standing right on the Ivanhoe crossing. The station Homestead, just behind me. Cattle station where many Mirrong people live, work. Well, the good side of it, they was there, speaking their language strong, even the kids. Go out and hunt, have robberies and that. But on the downside, they were basically like slaves, working for shirt and trousers, tea and sugar, I believe.
We're standing just below the diversion dam. The diversion dam was constructed in the early 1960s as part of the Ord irrigation scheme, and now the diversion dam creates Lake Kununurra. Lake Kununurra, 55 kilometres up to Lake Argyll, 20 radial gates. The purpose of the gates is to actually regulate the water, and the water then gravity feeds into the irrigation system.
What we've got behind me here is that the irrigation supply, the water supply to the valley. It's the main irrigation channel, and we're downstream 70, 80 k's from Lake Argyll, so the water flows here under gravity, so there's just no pumping to get this water onto this country. It's just held up by Lake Argyll and then the diversion dam. Everywhere else I've ever lived, you mainly worry about if you've got enough water, is it going to rain, when is it going to rain, and what are you going to do if you don't get enough rain? Whereas up here we've got this wonderful supply of water on tap almost. This red grapefruit growing here is probably the sweetest red grapefruit, or sweetest grapefruit you'd find anywhere in the world. And we're supplying most of the Australian market, and now some are being exported, I believe, to Canada and Southeast Asia. So there's a big variety of crops that can be grown here. It is a beautiful place to live and grow stuff.
I'm standing at the bottom of Ford Beach. My own name is Jiringalam, and we're right on the edge of the Ord River. And we used to walk that part of the river, using spears, hunt. But now, because of land subject to farming and that, it's been fenced off. We can't hardly use some areas now. The reason why we remain in this place because we belong to this place. We're Mirrong people, we belong to this area. We can't go into other tribal area and live there. In our culture, we don't do that. We can only live where we belong. And that's here now along the Ord River, or Kununurra.